So first of all, MLPerf currently lacks a representative automotive benchmark, and given that the autonomous driving market is expected to exceed $500 billion within 5 years, this is something that we very much want to correct. So as we've done with several other domains, we need to develop a benchmark which can guide hardware software design and selection in this domain during the benchmark's expected 2-year lifespan, before, at which point we would revisit this process to update the benchmark to something that is more current at that point. So we've gone through the process of assembling an advisory board, much like we did for MLPerf Medical. These are experts in the domain who can provide insight about what would actually constitute a useful automotive benchmark. And we've made a point to include board members who come from consumers of AV compute rather than producers. So these would be companies like, say, Waymo or Cruise, as opposed to Intel or NVIDIA. So these are the board members that we have so far. So we have representatives from Waymo, Toyota Research, Tesla, Zoox, and Uber, along with professors from University of Tokyo and Tsinghua University. The major features that we want the board to provide input on are sort of which tasks should the benchmark focus on, given that there's a lot of things going on to perform self-driving, which input sensors do we want to use? So the camera, LiDAR, radar, each company has a different opinion on which sensors should be used, and what network architecture would be most appropriate, along with what public data set do we want to use, and then what are the realistic performance constraints that are required for safe driving that may not be reflected in the existing MLPerf inference scenarios. We also care about input parameters, so those would be things like image resolution, frames per second, and so on, along with what would be the necessary accuracy target. So the current state of the development is that we've agreed to focus on 3D object detection using input from both cameras and LiDAR. We're expecting to use the Waymo open data set. And at this point, we're in the process of debating what's the proper network architecture. And then most of the other questions that we have are largely dependent on what model we're using. So those would be answered after that. Thank you.